What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a new video. We gonna talk about Mike D'Antoni rumor. A lot of people are speculating. A lot of people are talking, and a lot of people want to know my 2 cents on this topic. And is will he go to Philly and coach there after leaving the Rockets? He got them to the Western Conference Finals. He got them to the #1 seed in the NBA. He helped James Harden become a 3-time scoring champion by allowing him to be the offense, essentially, for the years that he was there. But not only that, Mike D'Antoni has a history. And I wanted to bring this up because a lot of people forgot his whole career. A lot of people remember Mike D'Antoni for his Phoenix days, the years where they was #1, the years where he helped Steve Nash become back-to-back MVPs. They remember the years of him coming up short, just like he did in Houston, a team that played a lot of offense but gave up a lot of points defensively. They tried to change the team. They added Shaq. They tried to go small. They tried to go with Joe Johnson, and all of it didn't work as they did not complete the journey, which is winning the title. But people forget about his career, which is the New York Knicks. And people also forget about his stint with the Lakers, where he had Kobe, Nash, Dwight Howard, and Paul Gasol and those guys. And they could never get on the same page. They could never gel. They could never even though they made the playoffs, nobody really thought that they reached their full potential. And even when he was with the Knicks, they had injury problems. They had Carmelo. They had a veteran roster and stuff like that. And he just couldn't get them anywhere either. And the only reason why I say that is just because Mike D'Antoni has showed that he can be a great offensive coach and he can get this team probably to patch that up a little bit. The goal is to be one of the best coaches, and what that takes is being able to get it done on any type of way. So you still have to play defense. You still have to find a way to get the best out of the roster throughout the whole coverage. You can't just say, well, he can make the offense better. He can be there. No, the goal is to take this team to a level that Brett Brown couldn't do. People felt like Brett Brown was a good coach. People felt like Brett Brown did the best that he can do. He synced it out. He couldn't get him over the hump. He couldn't even get him to the Eastern Conference Finals, which was tough because they had to go against Toronto and some other teams. And even this year, Brett Brown lost Ben Simmons, an all-NBA player, an all-star player. And we obviously thought that the Celtics should beat him because of that. So that's part of the game. But if you're going to get rid of Brett Brown, you're trying to bring in somebody better. You want to bring in somebody that can do things that he couldn't do. And that's a legitimate question. Can Mike D'Antoni be that guy? As Mike D'Antoni has never won a championship as a head coach. He hasn't even been to the NBA Finals. So the Philadelphia fans need to look at it from that perspective. He has had talent that has failed. He has had 2 All-Stars and Dwight and Russell and Harden and Chris Paul, and they couldn't get it done either. So Mike D'Antoni has some things he has to prove. He has some things that he has to do, not just for himself, but to prove to anybody that he can get the job done if he does get it. And Philly has a lot of problems. They have things that the roster has to be fixed. Al Horford, it would be crazy to give up him already, but we have seen that it's tough to make it fixed. And that's the only reason I bring it up. Paul Dwight couldn't get it figured out. Paul was a guy that liked to be back to the basket. Dwight Howard was a defensive player of the year, rim protector like Joel Embiid. And Howard showed that he can hit bank shots in Orlando, and Paul Gasol showed that he can hit mid-range, but he wasn't great at the 3. And Al Horford has been a solid 3-point shooter throughout his career, but never been an elite 3-point shooter, and neither has Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid does the face-ups. He does the mid-range. He does the post fades. And those are the shots that he eats off of. And if Al Horford isn't hitting the 3 and he's not playing great defense with them, it's hard to make that work when you even have Mike D'Antoni, who's not known for having defense. And even though he has had teams, like we've seen with the Rockets, that have been great defensive teams, can he get this team to the next level, or do they need to change a lot more? Because when we look at what Elton Brand did last year, bringing in Tobias, bringing in Jimmy Butler, it seemed like that team was clicking and they had another level that they possibly can go to. But they blew that up and went a different direction this year. and then you're going to tear it down and blow it up again to fit what Mike D'Antoni wants to do. That sounds a little crazy, and that can get you fired in Elton Brand perspective. We gave you this team and you changed it, couldn't get it done. Y'all lost in the second round. I understand that Ben Simmons was injured, but we seen throughout this whole year in the seeding game that this team doesn't gel and doesn't fit well together either. And that's why people want to trade assets, which is not good because Elton Brand built both of these teams with those pieces. And now he has to find a way to reconstruct it again. And if he fails with that, what's going to be his career as a GM? He's going to have a black mark, and people going to look at him like, look at what he did in Philly. He changed this, he changed that, he gave up on this, gave up on that. And ultimately, did it give them a championship or did it put them in a worse situation than they was before? We won't know until a couple more years possibly, but that's something that people got to keep in the back of their mind too. Now, when I look at Ben Simmons, I can see him being unlocked by a guy like Mike D'Antoni. I don't see Joel Embiid getting that much better with a Mike D'Antoni as his coach. Tobias Harris is a guy I can see that can do a little bit more but doesn't. Josh Richardson has to improve a little bit more with his consistency with his outside shooting. Even though he has shown that he can be a guy that can play make a little bit, score a little bit, he still has to, push himself a little bit more. They have some interesting guys on their bench. Not the greatest bench, but they have guys that know what they game and they know how to impact the game the only way they can. And I liked it. Some of the people that they brought in, they wasn't fully healthy at the end of the day. Ben Simmons with shooters, that's what people dream about. But will Ben Simmons with shooter win you a championship? Because if you trade Joel Embiid, you have to get a piece that perfectly fits with Ben Simmons if you're going to swap those players. And if you do that, how good will this team be? Because Ben Simmons has had some major injuries now. And even though this was the best season for him success-wise, he still has another level that he can reach. And will Mike D'Antoni bring it out? Possibly. But will it just be by his own style? Because like I said, Mike D'Antoni's style hasn't proven to win titles. It has gave you success, but it hasn't gave you the ultimate success which everybody wants him to do. And he hasn't got it done yet. So if I'm a Philadelphia fan, I'll be looking at it. Can we trust Mike D'Antoni? Can he get us over the hump, which Brett Brown wasn't able to do? Will Elton Brand be able to put the right roster around? Like we seen Daryl Morey. He went big with Clint Capella. They went small, and both of those situations didn't work. Just like we seen in LA, just like we seen in Houston, just like we seen with Phoenix. That style of play hasn't won. That style of play still hasn't validated itself because they haven't won a championship with it. It gave you success. It made players better. It made players reach their full potential, possibly too. But it hasn't got the job done at the end of the day, which is winning the title. So that's something the Philadelphia fans got to look at before they get too excited about getting Mike D'Antoni or possibly getting him. He's a flawed coach. He isn't perfect, but he is one of the better ones when it comes to, success in the regular season. But like we done seen time and time again, even with this roster, this Philly team hasn't been able to get over the hump in the playoffs, and neither has Mike D'Antoni. So keep that in the back of your mind. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com, link in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com, link in the description, comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. Thanks for everybody that done it. Thanks for everybody that continues to do it. Also, check out my spread shirt. That will be in the description, comment section below. You can buy merchandise. You can also buy merchandise on my Facebook page. You can pick any shirt, any logo. You can change the color of the shirt, change the color of the logo. You also can buy hats and other things. So message me if you want any of that. I also have over 1,000 videos if you're new to the channel. So if you need something new and you want some basketball footage or content, I make videos every single day about basketball, and I love and I enjoy to do it. And I do make breakdowns of players, legends, and rookies in Summer League breakdowns. I cover Summer League. I cover the draft, free agency, trade deadline. But not only that, season previews. And even stuff like NBA playoff predictions. So if you love basketball, you can't get enough of it, this is the channel for you. And I will see you guys tomorrow with another video as we get ready for the NBA Finals. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Quinn Way Basketball Analysis. I'm gone.